Hello, and thank you for coming, and thank you mostly to yourself for wanting to learn, for wanting to understand, and for wanting to make your life better. Well done, you. You are fabulous. Just by watching this, just by listening, it's a start. It's a gateway to moving forward and to get yourself unstuck. So I wanted to cover with you today, why do we get stuck? Why do we sometimes repeat the same patterns? Why do we find ourselves in situations sometimes that either doesn't change, or you think, the same thing happens again and again, or you just wish that you could move forward, but something just keeps you stuck. And when I say keep you stuck, I mean that could be relationships. It could be your career. There'd be something you want to do. It could be something new. It could be a new challenge. It could be something you want to achieve, but your brain keeps you stuck. Your brain gives you all the reasons under the sun why it can't happen. The brain does all sorts of things to keep you where you are. Or sometimes things repeat, or you can't quite do that thing to make that change. Have you ever wondered why? Why does our brain sometimes keep us stuck? Why do we sometimes live in this amazing Groundhog Day? Either having the same life or the same luck or the same whatever. Why? What's going on? Now, if we were to look at the science of the brain, I'm not a brain surgeon or a doctor or a specialist, but what I can tell you is I can give you an analogy of what goes on in our brain, what actually happens that may be keeping us stuck with different things. Now, is there something you want to do? Is there something you dream of? If there's something you'd love to grow and be, well, this is the key, because if you understand what goes on in your brain, you can take a little step outside of that story your brain tells you, look in and say, aha, I see what's going on here, Mr. Brain, Miss Brain, whatever you want to call your brain. I see what's going on here. I'm spotting the pattern. I'm now looking outside in rather than being on the inside and being a part of it. So, well done on taking the step, on becoming aware, on understanding how it works. I'm not going to baffle you with science. We're not going to use big words like frontal cortex, amygdala, and all the other parts of our brain, because all of our brain does different things. I'm not going to go down that route. First of all, you'd probably fall asleep. And secondly, you'd be like, big words, brain hurts. Can you just keep it simple? Absolutely, I'm keeping it simple. Okay. And I'm hoping this will really, really help you. Now, I love the work of a chap called Dr. Steve Peters, and he wrote an amazing book and study called the Chimp Paradox. And oh my goodness, it's amazing. It was a light bulb moment for me, one of many thought leaders and psychologists that I thought I work with, I read and research and I study with, and it's one of those that had a light bulb moment for me, and it's something that I've grabbed and used it as part of my teaching to explain to people why it's happening. And people go, I get it now. Right. Okay. Now I can get in the driver's seat and take control. So what is it all about? I hear you say, I get you. I get you. Yes. How do we take control back? How do we grow? How do we change the patterns? How do we move forward? Right. Today we're going to meet the part that stops you. The one that presses repeat on the Groundhog Day. We're going to meet that part of your brain. Guess what they're called? They're called the inner chimp. Okay, we've all got a chimp in our head, and the one that causes that to happen is called the chimp, and we're going to refer to it as the chimp, and we're going to explain why we call it the chimp. Now, how does the brain work? I'd like to give you an analogy. Okay, our brain has 3 steering wheels, 3 drivers. Okay, so one is the chimp, and that's the one we're going to talk about. So the chimp, it is fast, it's emotional, it's impulsive. Where's the chimp come from? I'd like to take you back when you were a caveman or cavewoman, and we were in, prehistoric times, Neanderthal times, we were cavemen. the part of our brain that creates emotion and survival hasn't changed. So the world and us and our minds and our exposure, technology like this has gone progressed. But the part of our brain that is looking at survival, we're talking flight or fight, hasn't changed. And then when we were cave women, we were looking for the saber-toothed tiger. Oh, so what's going to kill us? What's going to kill us? What could be dangerous? What could, end our survival on this planet? So we're talking about fight or flight. That part of the brain has not changed at all. So it's still there. It's still kicking away. That chimp, that primeval part of our unconscious brain, our subconscious brain, it's still there. And it's still looking for survival. It's looking for danger. What could kill us? What could eat it? Do we need to run away? Do we need to hide? Do we need to fight it? Do we need to get angry? That part is still there. And oh my goodness, it's strong. And we're going to call that the inner chimp. We haven't got a saber-toothed tiger anymore. We've got life. So what does that part of the brain look for now? It looks for emails that's going to be annoying. It's going to be looking for things that are going to trigger us. It's going to be looking for something that could endanger us, make us angry, put us in an unsafe place. And it looks for it continuously. So the inner chimp in our brain is always on surveillance. It is about ego, it's about fear, and it's about survival. So know that that is not you. Okay, let us think in for a minute. That is not you. That inner chimp, that fight or flight, that survival mode, that is not you. That is your inner chimp. So I'd like you to differentiate yourself from that. Acknowledge it's there. Acknowledge it has a driving seat. It has a steering wheel in your body, in your mind, but it's not you. And it will always be your protector. And sometimes an instinct can be good from it. But it is not always helpful. And 9 times out of 10, the inner chimp can be the one that is irrational, emotional, works with ego, fight or flight, sees something that isn't even there, or puts up the wall to keep you safe. But then it stops you moving forward on growth, opportunity, new adventures, leaving a relationship that's really bad, even though you know it's really bad, but it keeps you safe because it's what you know. Keeps you in that job and not changing because, well, other jobs may not be as good and that could be dangerous. We may not be able to pay our bills. Keeping you looking in the rearview mirror, keeping you reflecting on things that didn't work in the past. Oh, that could be dangerous. Stop. So the inner chimp can keep you in that Groundhog Day. You keep on going around and around. So, okay, so we know first steering wheel, chimp's driving. Chimp. Okay, that is inside of us all. So the inner chimp, know that. The next person is the human. So that is sort of you. That is, that is you. That is the rational. It's the wise. It's the balanced. It's part of you that has learned. And it reflects, it plans. It knows what it should do. It reflects. It learns. It acts. It has standards. It has values. It knows how something should be done. It knows what you should do. It knows what you should do for the right reasons. Whether it's leave that relationship, start that new job, get on and learn that new course. Know that you need to eat salad every day, and good proteins and a healthy diet, and that's how you stay healthy. It knows that stuff. It knows how you should behave. It knows how you should say, because it's learnt it. Does it always do it? But so that's the human side. That is the logical brain. Okay, so second driver of the steering wheel is the human in the seat. Okay, and the third part of the third driver in this very complex 3 steering wheel car of your brain is the computer. So what is the computer? Gosh, there's another one driving. What on earth does that do? Okay, this stores all your learnt information. It's like a giant memory bank, a big storage cabinet. It stores your habits. It's got your memory in there. It's sort of your autopilot behavior. And in this storage cupboard called the computer, guess who stores things in there? The chimp stores things in there. So everything the chimp needs to remember, because it needs to keep you alive. We need to know whether it's going to be in danger. Oh, do we need to fight? Do we need to take flight? What do I need to do to keep my sense of me, the ego, the chimp, that stores information in there. So that's the chimp storage cupboard, where it puts all these memories in, the rear view mirror, when things didn't work out before, what the consequences could be. But it's also the storage cabinet for the human as well, everything you have learned. So every time, so when you went to school, university, the things that your parents told you, your teachers told you, every time you've watched a podcast, every time you've read a self-help book, or you've learned how to do your job, you know how to do things. If someone said to you, I need a new battery in my mouse, how do I do that? Aha, no problem, you just do that. And you know, how do I rewire a plug? How do I, if you're an accountant, how do I produce a spreadsheet? How do I, whatever your job is, that is where the knowledge and the memory is stored. So you've got 3 drivers in your brain. You have the chimp, you have the human, and you have the computer. And it's really important to remember that all of us have those 3 people driving. And depending on what happens in life, different people can take control at different times. So is it going to be the human or is it going to be the chimp? Now, let me give you an analogy. So we're still driving the car. We're driving the car and the human's driving the car. We're driving up the road and the human's driving. And the human is driving safely, and it passed its driving test and it's driving, but sometimes the chimp can take over. Let's have a think. When would the chimp take over? Okay, you've got someone that's driving recklessly, and they've pulled in front of you and they've slammed their brakes and they're actually having a chase with someone else. Oh my goodness, that's so dangerous. What on earth are they think they're doing? So instantly, because it's about a possible danger situation, oh my goodness, the chimp gets on the wheel and the chimp drives. And you've probably by that point gone, what on earth are you? And there may be some expletives. There could be some hand gestures, depending on what mood the chimp is in. Or the human may still be driving. I left enough braking distance. I'm going to slow down, step back from this situation. Now, can you see how the circumstances change, how consequences can change, how things can move forward? But the computer is there all the time holding the information. It knows how to drive. It knows how to drive safely. It knows what it should do. But depending on the situation, the chimp can drive at any time, because something could trigger the chimp to say, I can't believe this. So things like road rage, driving erratically or irresponsibly, that could well be, or driving very well maybe, for a survival situation, so you never know. So just acknowledge that there's 3 drivers, 3 steering wheels, and either the chimp or the human can drive, okay? So there's 3 drivers in your brain. So why do we get stuck? What happens here? So we said about the saber-toothed tiger. We haven't got one anymore. But it kicks in different ways. So what does the chimp do? Where will we see the chimp in everyday life? So fear of change. And that could be anything. Could be relationship, job, life, moving home, moving location, anything. It could be, I don't want Heinz beans this week. I'll buy those supermarket owned ones at 10p. Oh, no, we can't buy those. So, it could be anything. The chimp doesn't always like change, because uncertainty. What if it goes wrong? What if we get fired? What if it's not as secure as where I am now? What if? So it can keep you back. The chimp has a fear of change. Now, depending on who's driving the situation, so a chimp could say that could be very, this new job. No, that could be really, what if it doesn't work? What if we don't like it there? What if we get fired in our probation period? That wouldn't be very good. But the human may say, wow, I think it's ready for a change. I know I'm capable. We can earn more money in that role. I think I've outgrown this role, and I think this would be good. but the chimp will come back with that argument. Fear of change. Imposter syndrome. Do you ever find yourself, oh, I'd love to do that, but then your chimp would go, yeah, we're not good enough for that. Who do you think you are? Stay where you are, stay where you're safe, don't change. So imposter syndrome, it will make you think like you're not good enough and it will hold you back. So what else does the chimp do? People pleasing. So people pleasing, seeking approval, doing things because it makes people like you, that is a safety position. So you may find that you people please your partner a lot because you want to keep them calm, and you may know that your partner has an inner chimp that could flare up, so you try and please them and do what they want, and you won't do what you want because they won't be happy. Or it could be your mother or your father or a friend that you people please with all the time because, well, you don't want them to think that of you. Or your boss. Well, I'll do that because it will make them happy, and yeah, that'll be good. So it keeps you in a safe position by people pleasing, and you may find that your chimp does that a lot as well. The other one is overthinking. Oh my goodness, yeah, but that might not work. Oh my goodness, and you can freeze. You can procrastinate. Do you find that you procrastinate sometimes when you try to do something? You want to do it, yep, and then you'll find every reason under the sun not to do it. And it's like protect with paralysis. Your chimp switches on the paralysis, and it can be a learnt thing. It can be a learnt thing from a child. You're not good enough. It's not going to work. It kicks in all the above, the fear of change, the imposter syndrome, people pleasing, overthinking, So it will overthink and the paralysis will kick in, unconsciously or unconsciously. Do you find you don't address something because it seems a scary place and you don't really know what they're going to say on the phone and you don't want to pick it up and ask the question? But when you do actually, oh, it was okay, I don't know why I put it off so long. And that's the sort of thing the chimp does. It's about protection. Sabotage. That naughty chimp, he or she, whatever you're going to call yours, sabotages. So I'm on a healthy eating plan. I want to lose weight. I want to get fit. I've got an aim of some abs. I've got an aim to strengthen my exercise to ride a horse or whatever. That's me. But then you switch into those learned habits. I'm going to eat cake. And I'm going to open a bottle of wine because it's Friday and I deserve it on a Friday. So I'm going to crack open the bottle of wine. Woo-hoo. And, oh, that's that cake. Yum, yum, yum. Oh, I just have one bit. Self-sabotage. Like not going to the gym. I know I need to go to the gym. You're going to look really, really good. Yeah, I don't want to go to the gym. Yeah, I don't want to go to the gym. Yeah. Self-sabotage. When you've been triggered. If you got a text message that really sort of annoyed you, or you interpreted it a certain way, or you got an email. You know you've got an email some days where you get an email and you open it and you think, who does she think she is? Can you believe? And your instinct is to pick up that keyboard and go, right, let me tell you. Now, you know what I mean? Or text message and you think, And how you react to something, then we'll talk about that in a bit, can change. It can change depending on who is in the driving seat. And there's lots of things that influences whether the chimp is in the driving seat or the human's in the driving seat. It can be lots of things. It can be things like tiredness, exhaustion, can be hormones. So for women and for men. But particularly with women, you know, with the time of the month or perimenopause or menopause, it could be a particularly hormonal time. There could be something else going on as well that's making you more sensitive. There could be something else that is triggering the ape. So if you're going through a very stressful period with relationship or money or job or house and things like that, you may find that you're more emotional and the chimp is already there. The chimp is already in ego protection mode or fight or flight mode, so that when something does come in like a text or an email, the chimp is right on it. Rah, rah. So have you ever noticed that with someone that they're a lovely, lovely person, but sometimes you'll be around them and they're a bit nippy and you're like, okay, I'm just going to give you a little wide berth. And knowing what I know now, if I get a little bit of that feeling from them, Okay, so the chimp's probably in the driver's seat, something stressing them. There could be something at home going on, there could be something at job, there's money worries, or they're just not, or their hormones, or whatever, or it could be lots and lots of things. But there could be something there. And so I'm like, okay, this is not the right time. I'll just give them a wide berth. Or you just say something to them in passing and they bite your head off, or they respond, you're like, okay, Chimp was in control. Yeah? Does that sound familiar? I'm sure you could think of situations like that. So acknowledge that there could be sabotage from the chimp as well. So the chimp's tricks, we've said fear of change. We've got imposter syndrome, people pleasing, overthinking, and sabotage. Are they all sounding familiar? I know they do for me. We can all think about things that they sort of relate to us as well. So they're the sort of things that the chimp gets up to. So how do we spot chimp? How do we spot their patterns? Now, the best way is to identify the chimp is to not see it as you. Not see it as you. The chimp is not you. Give it a name. Okay, now my suggestion with this is that side of you, give it a name. Think of someone that you really don't respect. Someone that really annoys you or you don't like, or think of that school bully at school when you were younger and you're like, that just the mention of their name just makes you feel, you don't respect their opinion. Yeah, think of someone you don't respect their opinion, or you don't have respect for anymore, you don't like, or they trigger something in you. So give your chimp a name. So whatever you call it, Beryl or whatever, and say, so when you learn to step out of your brain, you'll know it's not you. And the interesting thing is, when you're thinking in your own head, have you noticed it's having a conversation with you? Now, do we need to talk to ourselves? Well, we don't. And that's because that part of our brain talking to us is not us. So give that chimp a brain, give it a name, and know it's not you. And when it's talking, the aim is to learn to step away from it, to see it, to spot the patterns. That's not me, that's Beryl. Okay, what may have triggered Beryl? Okay, and clock it. And then we will go on later on and talk about all sorts of strategies to handle the chimp. But know the chimp is not you, and learn to give it a name so that when it suggests to do something, you can say, calm down, Beryl. Get in your box, Beryl. All right. Okay, I acknowledge how you're feeling, Beryl, but we're going to choose to do something a bit different. You're going to keep the human in the driver's seat. The human's going to access the computer and say, okay, we're going to handle this a different way. Appreciate you there, Beryl. I appreciate your worries, but we have information that we can know we can handle it a different way. And that, not letting that chimp in that driver's seat by learning, is the key for moving forward. So, spotting the chimps. If it's anything to do with emotion, it's a chimp. A chimp will stop growth because it's fear of change. And it will try and sabotage it in some way, or give you all the reasons under the sun as to why it can't work, why it's dangerous, why you will fail, why you can't afford it, why it's too risky. Oh my God, you could lose your house. Don't even do it. You'll have no friends. You won't like anyone. Your children will be unhappy. Does that make sense? It will keep you stuck. Think about diet, think about career, think about relationship. It will keep you where you are. Because sometimes knowing something feels safer than change, even if you know you need to change. And that's where the human comes in. The chimp also judges you and judges others. It's also very anxious about things. So a chimp will go, who does she think she is? Have you seen that? And the chimp gossips. The chimp gossips all the time because it wants to have a look at what other people are doing and have a little, oh yeah, right. Can you believe they're doing that? Right. Well, that won't work, will it? No, it won't. So the chimp will always judge others, gossip about them, belittle them. And it does that as self-reinforcement. I'm going to criticize that person setting up a new business or changing job. Well, I'd like to see how long that lasts for them. Yeah. Who does she think she is doing that? Because by criticizing others, the chimp reinforces that it's safe. See, I'm better off exactly where I am. I'm going to criticize you because, yeah, you're doing some crap and you're not going to be good at that. And I'm going to reinforce my own ego by staying exactly where I am. So the chimp will always judge yourself or others. You're not good enough, etc. Okay, so look out for that. And it will keep you anxious, keep you worried. What if, what if, what if? If you are anxious all the time, the chimp is in control because it's scared. It's looking in the rearview mirror. Now, what has fed the chimp over the years? It's trauma, it's consequence, it's bad experiences, bad relationship, bad managers, bad jobs, bad experiences at school, bad experiences of change. And it can make you live in the rearview mirror. Oh, when that happened before, that was dangerous. Yeah, we won't be doing that again. That wouldn't work. I was in a relationship and that didn't work. And it gives you strap lines like, all men cheat. Moving house never works. But it gives you lines. It gives you stories. It gives you these things. It gives you excuses to keep you stuck because being stuck is safe. Change is unsafe. Okay? So that's the chimp. That's how to spot it. And there's patterns. You will repeat these patterns again and again and again. And I'd love you to spot it in other people. Sometimes it can be harder spotting it in you. Spot it in other people. Have I said things that sort of rung a bell? Have you noticed that some other people keep themselves stuck? And you think, why don't you just go out to work? Why don't you just do that opportunity? Why doesn't she just leave him? Why doesn't she? Why doesn't she? And sometimes we can spot the chimp in others that they don't spot themselves. There's a big difference between spotting something and gossiping, by the way. Gossiping isn't good, but just clock that. So, I was going to ask you to do an exercise now. So maybe in your journal, I'd love you to write something down and maybe give it some time a bit later. When you feel like something inside is taken over, when you feel like a feeling inside of you is taken over, when does that normally happen for you? Does it involve change? Does it happen at work? Does it happen when you're around certain people? Do you feel like something inside you taken over? Think about some of those sort of times. For example, do you snap at the children? So sometimes snapping at the children, like, right, I'm going to make dinner, making the dinner, and you're humans making the dinner. And then all of a sudden you have asked them 3 times and they've not listened, they've not cleaned their teeth, they've not done this. And you're like, for goodness sake, children, I have asked you 3 times. Why have you not done this? Da, 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 da. Sometimes it's justified. Other times it's the chimp kicking in because you're like, I just want to work. I just want to. And you may snap at someone or snap at the children. So that could be the chimp kicking in. When you're overthinking, that's the chimp. When do you overthink? Think about times when you overthink. When have you also backed out of a goal? I'd like you to think about that. Think about a goal that you had and you backed out of it. I'll leave that one to you. But think about why. What was your decision making at that time? Do you think it was the chimp kicking in? One to reflect in your journal maybe. So, how can we tame this chimp? We all know we now have this chimp in our head. What can we do? So there's a number of things we can do. We got to manage it. Now that we know it's there, the biggest thing we can do is give it a name. Hello, Beryl. There you are. Right. Okay, Beryl. Giving you a name. You are no longer me because you've got a name, Beryl. There you are. So I'm going to learn to differentiate myself when those thought patterns and repetitions come in. I'm going to learn when you're in the driving seat. I'm going to learn when you're triggered. Okay? So, Beryl, you've got a name and it's not me. And it's also someone I really disrespect. So, when you do talk to me about doing something, I'm like, because you don't always reflect, respect whatever you're going to call your chimp. You're not always going to respect that thing. Recognize it. Okay? Keep spotting. I'd love you to spot it in you. Start spotting it in others. When's their chimp kicking in? Okay? Learn to delay reaction. So, how you manage and care for your chimp. If you know something is a trigger for you, learn to delay your reaction. So, if it's an email, if it's a text, and you actually want to reply, shouty, or you want to shout at the kids, or you want to do something with instant response, learn to be quiet. Learn to delay it. Say, okay, my instinct of reacting is this. I acknowledge that Beryl wants to do that, or Thomas, or whatever you're going to call it in your head. I acknowledge he wants to do that, but I'm actually going to delay the reaction, and I'm going to wait till Beryl's calmed down. Make a decision tomorrow. I'm not going to reply. I'm going to put my phone down, and I'm not going to feed it. I'm not going to respond to it. I'm just going to wait till tomorrow. And let's see if things are a bit different. Maybe I'm feeling stressed, I'm hungry, I'm tired, I'm hot, I'm thirsty, I just need some sleep. And that really is when the chimp is in the driver's seat as well. So feed it calming facts. Feed it information to calm the chimp, to get it calm, to get it to chill out effectively, and exercise it safely. So you can talk it out. You can have a conversation almost with your Beryl, with your chimp. You talk it out. Okay, I acknowledge that I want to behave like that, but what is that going to achieve? Okay, I'm going to access my computer again, and we're going to talk about that. Yeah, there may be a different way. Let's still delay it till tomorrow before I reply, but let's talk it out. Let's talk about the pros and cons. So you're actually calming the chimp down by giving it information, to learning to rationalize and getting the human to take over and say, okay, then we can make an informed choice. Journal. Journal's really good. And I'm going to come on to why Susie and I have developed the Between Friends and particularly the Be Great Challenge. So one of the ways basically that we can manage our chimps, know our chimps are there, spot them, calm them, manage them and train them, is by having structure. And that's why we've developed the Be Great Challenge. Because a morning routine, and I know some of you may say, I'm not a morning person, I don't do mornings. Okay, I get it. That's your chimp talking, by the way. And the reason you train and inform and calm your chimp is by a morning routine, is one of the ways, for example. So we've developed the morning routine. So if you get up in the morning, and by the way, you have to get up, which is why I sometimes say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, up. You're trying to get up before the chimp wakes up. So if you need or want to get up at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m., whatever time, and you've set the alarm and you normally go, yeah, snooze. That's the chimp. It's all the chimp. You got to get in quick before the chimp. And don't think of anything else. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I am up. Curtains open, make your bed, put on some music, clean your teeth, go to the toilet, light on. You're straight in. You're activating the human straight away. First of all, that's the getting up side. And then you got the morning routine. So what do we do in the morning routine? So our choice is for the Be Great Challenge is we meditate. We breathe, we calm, we take away stress, we calm the chimp. We feed the human and the computer with information and we calm. We recenter ourselves. Who are we? I know who we are. We do affirmations. We do gratitude. We focus on the good. We focus on our growth and we focus on our ability and we focus on what we know that we can achieve. So when we do meditation and breathing, when we look at energy to change our state, when we do affirmations to say, I am strong, I can do this, I am not my fear, I choose who drives today. You're doing these affirmations and you are installing your program for the day. When you read and you educate, you're managing and calming the chimp. You're providing it with information to go, okay. So I don't need to have that wall up anymore. I don't need to get ready to fight. I don't need to hide in a box. Do you see what I mean? So we do the breathing and meditation. We have energy. We move to change our state. We read, we educate, we have gratitude, and we take action. And when we write down our taking actions, it's about we know what we will do. This is about saying to the chimp, it's okay. I've got an action plan here, and this is how. However small, daily steps, but the affirmations with the gratitude, with the taking action, changing your state, acknowledging that Beryl the chimp is there, and learning the strategies, knowing that you are not Beryl. Beryl's got a name. Beryl's another thing, but acknowledging it's there and understanding. So it's like having a dog, a pet dog that you know is a bit naughty and you can go a bit wild sometimes. It can be a bit cheeky. It reacts in a certain way, and it's knowing, not we're calling part of our brain a dog, but you know what I mean. It's about understanding how something reacts, how it works, what motivates it, what triggers it, what excites it, how to keep it calm, how to train and get it to relax, not to worry. Yeah. So that is why we did the Be Great Challenge, because it gives a mechanism. It trains it. It trains the computer. And the more you train the computer, you get habits. And you must have heard probably the saying, habit stacking. Stack. So have you ever read a great self-help book or information you're like, oh, that's amazing. You know, it could be Mel Robbins, it could be Tony Robbins, it could be Jay Shetty, it could be anyone. The list goes on of amazing thought leaders and people that you listen to and you're like, oh my God, that's it. That is amazing. You close the book, you say, that is phenomenal. My life has changed. I've learned so much. Fantastic. You put the book down. Yep, read that. That's good. My life would be good now. And then you stick to it for a week. And maybe a week a bit more. And then the old habits start to come back. Oh, I don't think I'll get up today. Oh, I need wine, I need cake. You know, these are just examples, for example. And it starts to fade off. Yeah, I'm not so good now. Why? Because you are, whatever age you are today, I'm 48. I've had 48 years of experience of that chimp being there. Where's the danger? Where should I be afraid of? What's going to kill us? What do I need to run from? What do I need to... 48 years of that happening. 48 years of that being the daily habit every day for 48 years. So we can't just pick up a self-help book and say, ta-da, job done. It will give you information and it will go in the computer. It may stay in the computer long term or it will stay in there short term. And then the chip starts taking over and we'll just put that knowledge to, yeah, I know it, but I don't do it. And knowing and doing are two very different things sometimes. And that is why we've developed the Be Great Challenge and why we are here to try and help you keep those habits long term, every day. So you almost have to change the way you do things to get permanent change going forward. And it's about daily reinforcement. And that's exactly why we developed the challenge. Okay, so there's all these amazing strategies that we can do to keep the chimp down. So it's about reprogramming the computer effectively, and that's what we're focusing on. So the more we put information and we reprogram the computer and we spot the behavior is not us, the more we have an opportunity to change. Okay, so make sure you differentiate that chimp is not you. Make sure you know it's someone else. Start watching that chimp closely and watch when the chimp is thinking or talking or feeling, whatever it's doing. Okay. Know that you are not broken. However you are, whatever you've experienced, wherever you've come from today, however you arrived to being here, and well done, huge well done. Because this is the start of changing you and changing your life and getting control of your life. You are not broken. You are exactly where you are, and that is just great. It just means that the chimp's been driving quite a bit, and that's okay. Just means your chimp is loud. Be quiet, Beryl. Your chimp is loud. You're not broken. Your chimp is loud. Okay? And we've all got loud chimps. Some days the chimp is louder than another. It's a little bit reckless. It's like the monkeys that when you drive through one of those safaris with your car, with the animals, and the chimp that jumps on and it gets the windscreen wiper. Oh. So imagine one of those chimp when it's getting a bit unruly, or it's thinking things that aren't going to do you a favor. So you're not broken. Don't fight yourself. Lead yourself. Okay? And that's what we're saying about feeding the information, feeding the habits. You're feeding the computer for the human. You're going to lead yourself. Don't fight yourself. Just lead. The human steps up. And that's where more information, structure, support, community, because we're not all perfect, but we take you exactly where you are. The good, the bad, the ugly, the freckles, the wonkiness. We're all human, aren't we? And when I say human, I mean we're half human, half ape. But we are where we are. We are who we are. And that's okay. And we love you just the way you are, because you are amazing. Okay? We all have a chimp. And the chimp's just doing different stuff. Okay? So an affirmation I'd love you to write down. Okay, got your pen and paper? So I'd love you to write this down. I am not my fear. I choose who drives today. I am not my fear. And that is an affirmation also that will keep your chimp calm. Okay? So make sure you print it off, put it by your bed, put it by your computer, put it in the front of your diary, put it in your journal and say it. I am not my fear. So whenever you find yourself doing the stuff that the chimp does in the driving seat, whether it's procrastinating, whether it's self-sabotage, whether it's imposter syndrome, etc., I am not my fear. I choose to drive today, okay? And that'll calm it down. So, guys and girls, where is your chimp keeping you stuck? I'd love you to do some journaling, have a think, do a brainstorm and think honestly, where am I stuck? What patterns am I repeating? When do I have a good gossip? When am I moaning? When am I criticizing? When am I saying I'm not good enough? When am I saying that's no good? That won't work. The problem with that is blame, blame, blame. That sort of stuff. Okay, when am I playing that? Where is your chimp keeping you stuck? What do you need to change? Where does your heart tell you need to go? Because you're phenomenal and you can achieve anything. What do you think this week? If there was one thing this week that you could change, where can your human take control this week? Where can the human lead from this week? Write that down in your journal. And if you want to share with the group, fantastic. Okay, so our inner chimp, know it's there, give it a name, and know there's the chimp and the human that drive it each time, and they both access a computer at the back here, and they process things in different ways. Just know who's in that driving seat and learn to recognize, give it a name, manage and train and care for your chimp to keep it calm. Okay, learn to recognize it, and then the chimp will settle down and the human can step in, access the information and lead forward. Now that sounds very simple, doesn't it? But we're actually human and it's not that simple, as we all know. So, but now you know. That is just the start, okay? And that is a foundation that everything we teach, we understand a little bit about. In the basic terms, that's sort of what's going on in the head. Now, if we can develop our life and our strategies, our habits are key for consistency. Remember, whatever your age, you had that many years of the chimp, a lot of the time in control, not always, but a lot of the time. Okay, and now you're going to springboard to amazing success because you are amazing and you are phenomenal. Know it's there. Get journaling, get thinking, get spotting that chimp. Okay, now go be magnificently you. You are phenomenal. We believe in you. Susie and I believe in you. We know you are capable of magnificent things and it's coming your way. And we want to help you there. We want to hold you up. We want to cuddle you. We want to give you all the resources and everything you need to help you springboard. Let's do this together. Hey, big hug for you, for the chimp, for the human, and just amazingly you, wherever you are. You're not broken. You've just got a loud chimp. Remember that. Okay, but let's go be magnificent. Sending lots of love. Go be